Well, that is bog oak. Pretty black normally, but there are some lighter stuff, and that is what we pick for this project.
Hello, Graham Vincent, Violinmaker and musician. Well, it feels a bit autumnal here in the UK. It's raining outside, and I've just put the heater on in the workshop, which is what that noise is in the background. It'll quieten down in a minute, so forgive me for that. Right, today we are working on the bog oak octave violin. So the next stage basically is I've done the marking out. It's over to the band saw to start off with, and then it's going to be sort of deeping the fronts and the backs so that I can open them up.
Nice choice of hat, I must say. Anyway, so yeah, there's going to be quite a bit of what they call time-lapse stuff. So here's me sawing away at things. Over to the band saw, a bit more sawing. Yeah, I've got there is extraction on this, although there does seem to be rather a lot of dust on the table for some reason. Not quite sure what that's about. Yeah, so that's the fronts, backs and ribs by the look of it. I imagine there's a short bit for the neck somewhere. See what I mean about the colour of this? It's sort of really rich, dark brown colour. More sort of reminiscent of oak you might find in a church. Despite the age of it, being about 4,000 years old, I was amazed how well this timber works. It's like working on very well seasoned oak. It's lovely. You might hear the odd bit of thunder out there. Yeah, I've still got the workshop door open. It's not raining here, but obviously somewhere a few miles away it's raining and there's thunder. I was quite worried with this bog oak that it was going to be difficult to bend. I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but it seems to take the bending okay. It's that same principles seem to apply as on other bits of timber, and that is you're not bending it, you're actually heating it on the bending iron and then waiting for it to become pliable. What you're doing is I'm bringing it in, I'm holding it here until I'm pretty sure that the resins and everything, whatever may be left in this bog oak, have been softened up, and then I can start to move it and bend it, and you can actually feel. It's almost like you're holding a stick of hot melt glue. You know, whilst you might be able to bend it when it's cold, you know it isn't going to. You know, it behaves in one way, and then when it gets hot, it's something completely different. And bending ribs on violins is much the same. Right, what I've done here is I tend to almost exaggerate the bend that I want, knowing that it'll be very easy to make it relax. Yeah, so we're going to spare you some of this time, because I whittled on for about 20 minutes as I did these. That bending iron's quite hot. You have to be very careful not to put your fingers anywhere near it. I actually turned the fan on here because the fumes that were rising from this bog oak was most unpleasant. It's quite fun watching it speed it up. Wish it was this fast normally.
I don't normally work in white t-shirts either. Yeah, nearly there. I seem happy. So I've got the linings in. One thing I like to do with these guitar-shaped ones, these cornerless ones, is because there's nothing to hold the ribs to the mould, I glue these little blocks in on the corners. In the middle bounce. Let me just turn this over to show you, because I've just done the other side. There we are. And that means when that's done, I'll be able to take the those middle sort of blocks, clamps out, and everything will stay in place. And I use hot melt glue for that, because it's all going to be taken away afterwards. There won't be a trace of that block or the glue left in the finished violin, so just use anything that's quick and easy. In this case, hot melt. Things are moving on. I've actually cut the Purfling slot with a router, unusually for me. I'm not going to use standard Purfling. I'm going to use the same stuff that I'm using for the fingerboard, which is this bamboo product. So it just be and it's not going to be laminated black, white, black. It's just going to be one dark stripe, which I think is going to look absolutely stunning. Just a heavy dark line against the oak. Quite excited about that. I think it's going to look amazing. So I'm just cutting in the channel and carrying on with the shaping. Yeah, loving the look of the single line Purfling. It's quite subtle. I like that. Quite exciting, this piece. Yeah, I'm just on the shaping of the back at the moment. Not using templates as usual, arching templates. I just like to kind of see the shape of it as it develops, and it means everyone's different, and that's for me, that's a great thing. That's how it should be. Cool, cleaning your glasses helps. So I like there to be a good sweep down, and can you see that on there? Yeah, a good return down. For me, I kind of feel that, that an arch is such a stiff shape that you need to introduce the possibility of some flexibility in the form by leaving that sort of return area. I think that kind of frees it up a little bit in terms of the possibility of it moving. Although that being said, I've been playing an old violin recently with quite Brescian style arching, which means that there isn't that kind of return. There isn't that the arching sort of just goes pretty much to the edge, and contrary to what my theory would suggest that means, that's got a beautiful open loud sound. So maybe I'll have to make one much more like that to actually experiment. Is it just all down to the resonance of the wood and making a nice light violin? Is it as simple as that? Does the arching not matter? Because you do find excellent violins of almost any type, don't you? Who knows? I mean, the arching serves many purposes and influences many things. And one of the things, for me, I think one of the principal things that influences is how you feel about the violin and how you feel about a violin. Assuming it works at a basic level is actually a very important part of the whole thing. And I know a lot of people are going to be scratching their heads thinking, what are you talking about? You know, and I'm not undermining all that experimentation and effort and all the rest of it. But it's like, you know, placebos in medicine are incredibly important. In some instances, they may be the most important thing of all. So making a violin which someone believes to be absolutely beautiful or fulfills their exacting idea of what is going to work acoustically, you know, it's pretty important. So perhaps the placebo in the way that I do my arching is working its effect on me. Perhaps that's what I'm describing here. It is. That makes more sense than a lot of things I say. That's interesting. Well, I'm working on the sort of green man carving. It's I don't know, at the moment it's looking like something from a horror film, to be perfectly honest, but let's keep going. The problem is that this has got to be carved in oak, and it's not a very large carving, and so the ability for it actually to take definition as you reduce the size of it sort of is reduced as well. So I've got to make it almost a fairly simple kind of carving. But there we go. So back to the time lapse. I was using toothpicks, and then I suddenly decided that no, I wanted to use some bog oak for the pins. Otherwise they would have stood out like little white dots. I tend to use spool clamps sometimes when I'm putting bodies together, but for the first plate that I put on, I tend to use this jig with continuous front and back plates, so that it makes sure you don't build a twist into the body. I go over it with I put some glue on the sort of mating faces first of all, get it set up, and then reactivate the glue with some hot fresh glue on a knife. Just cleaning out the glue squeeze. Doing the other side.
Gosh, it's like watching a hamster work. Putting the label in. Ah, slowly getting there, slowly getting there. Yeah, gonna put the body together now. Well, body's together. I mean, I haven't done the edge work on the out front of the back. I do the edge work on the inside of the plates before I put the thing together, because that just makes life 1,000 times easier. However, this is the sort of when you really know if something's going to work or not acoustically. So, shall we see? And I have to say, I'm very pleasantly surprised. That's to me, that seems like a very responsive body. To the high frequencies and also to the mid and bottom end. I think that's going to be absolutely lovely. Whew. And it kind of goes against everything that traditional violin making tells you about what should and shouldn't work. But we'll see when it's strung up. But I mean, at the moment, I'm not worried. I think that's going to be great. So the next stage is turn or make, this very rough idea in plasticine into a real wooden version. So using my converted sort of multi-angled vise, you see I'm using a little rotary tool for some of the work there. I don't tend to, I normally work with gouges, but sometimes it's a bit easier. So I got the face done, and then it's all the foliage around it, and the rest of it seemed to take the longest time of all. It's fun though. Got through a lot of tea doing this. Next stage is chopping in the peg box. That's what I'm doing now. Just realised that I've missed out huge chunks of recording, but anyway, there we go. So obviously the neck is in, fingerboards on. I'm rough shaping the neck. I haven't done the outer edge work on the body yet, but I'll be doing that shortly. I'm aiming for about 18.5, 19 mil there, 20.5, 21 there. And I'm alternating between scraping and filing because while scraping gives a smoother finish, filing gives a flatter finish, if that makes sense. It doesn't allow ridges and bumps to build up. So you need a sort of progress. Well, I'm progressing with both to use the advantages of both. Carving went well. So on with the bog oak octave fiddle. So yeah, I've just got it strung up There's still masses of work to do on it. I've got to cut the nut in. It's a really important one when it comes to playing it, because at the moment the strings are a long way off the fingerboard at the top, which makes actually playing in tune quite tricky. But I just wanted to put it together, just check it was all kind of working and see how it sounded. So here we are. So at the moment I'm just working my way around on the edge work. The inner face of the edge work was done before the plates were glued on. So it's just this outer curve. Starting to come together. So bog oak violin, well, octave violin, bog oak octave violin. The finishing is done. We're now at the stage where I've just got to fit it up. So let's get on with that. I'll just leave the camera running. Yeah, I like that. That's Eleanor Plunkett. Yeah, gosh, what a thing.